So this is the Farmall H. I purchased this from a lady whose husband had owned it, and he got it from his father, who had bought it nearly new back in 53. This is a 1951 Farmall Model H, and I've got it home a few days ago, a week ago. I've tried to give it a little bit of a scrub. I don't have a pressure washer, but I tried to kind of clean it up here a little bit. And so it has a Super H hood on it because it's obviously not a Super H, it's an ordinary H. Somebody's given this the old-fashioned slobber on paintbrush job in the past. It looks pretty rough, but anyways. It's been kept inside all its life, so it's not too rusty, but it had about 1/4 of an inch of grimy dust just baked onto that paint, so I had the WD-40 and paper towels out and tried to kind of clean off the worst of it. So it's kind of cleaned up a little bit more. I haven't got the platform cleaned off. Anyways, I got it home, drove it home with only minor issues. It wasn't running very well. It was kind of running rough and sputtery a bit, and the one wheel on the right hand wheel, somebody had loosened off all the wheel clamps and only finger tightened them. I don't know whether they didn't have their morning coffee or what, but I had to tighten them all up on the side of the road. I found a pair of vice grips and an old rusty adjustable wrench in the toolbox and tried to snug them up enough just to get me home. So anyways, I got it home and got it backed in the shop here, and then the next day I kind of got studying it up a little more. So the work I've done to it so far, drained the transmission oil out, got that changed, brand new, all up to spec. Changed the oil filter in the engine. I lubricated the starter motor, lubricated the generator, lubricated the magneto. I put brand new spark plugs in it. Yeah, you can't see up in there, but 4 brand new spark plugs, brand new spark plug wires, wire to the coil. And what else did I do? I lubricated all the steering mechanism. I lubricated the steering box up top. Here, greased everything good, with the grease gun, all the grease fittings. Cleaned the carb just with carb cleaner, and then just tonight I got the geez, the mic's terrible here. I'm gonna get this swing around. I got the carb set up. It's running perfect now, pretty much as perfect gets with an old worn out tractor. But she seems real strong, for an H. It's not ever gonna win a competition head to head with my 826, but you can start her right out, low idle, just jam the throttle on in road gear, and she'll just snarl right up to smoothly up to running speed. So seems to be good. I cleaned out the oil filter reservoir there. It's all up to spec. So yeah, I cleaned out the fuel filter here, that little brass filter in there. Sediment bowl's clean. I extended the muffler up a little higher. This muffler was right down low, clamped in underneath. You couldn't lift the hood up at all to get at it to service it. Plus it dumped the fumes out just about nose level. When you were driving it, the fumes would come right back at you, so I raised it up about 12 inches just to get the exhaust up over your head so you don't have to breathe it. The oil pressure gauge works, but the temperature gauge doesn't. So one thing I'm going to do before cold weather comes, because I'm in Canada, is drain the coolant out and fill her up with brand new premix antifreeze, just to make sure it's all good for the winter, because the last thing you want to do is freeze her up. So my next project is I'm going to do the brakes. Just pull them off. They were working when I was bringing it home. They were actually working okay, but they were chattering and grinding, and I have a feeling they were adjusted up quite tight. I think the bands must be worn right out to nothing, and probably the drums are covered in oil. They need to be all cleaned up. And if they're covered in oil, it probably means the oil seals are leaking, so they'll have to be changed. But that's kind of the next project, is to get the brakes kind of squared away there. Anyways, it's just your standard H. I did adjust the seat back. The guy who owned it must have been a little short guy, because the seat was jammed right as far ahead as it would go and as low as it would go here. So I put it as far back as it would go and as high as it would go, because I have big long legs. So yeah, that's it. We had to fix the drawbar. The drawbar was this swivel drawbar was all bent, like this adjustable drawbar. It goes back and forth for when you're plowing on a hillside or whatnot. So we got that. Had to put a few new bolts into the pivot there and just lube everything up and get it. I am going to put a new drawbar on this in time to come, because this one's been welded up more than once. So anyways, I'm going to sign off for now. That's the old H, 1951 Farmall. It's the latest acquisition. Came with a Massey Harris plow. I'm going to do a video about that later.